What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we got a major announcement today, courtesy of Jeff Snyder, aka The Insider.
Why did you say that name?
That Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie is set to release in 2028. Now, this will be a culmination of both The Mandalorian and the Ahsoka series. We know now that The Mandalorian will get a season 4 and will be followed by a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So expect both The Mandalorian and Grogu to survive The Mandalorian season 4. This will then lead to Ahsoka season 2, which will then lead to Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie, which will likely be Heir of the Empire. It's been rumored for a while that he's doing a version of Heir of the Empire, but doing it a little bit differently because of the fact that he's incorporating the characters from The Mandalorian and the Ahsoka series, or you could say Star Wars Rebels. But one of the biggest questions I have about this movie is, how do you do an Heir of the Empire movie without incorporating the big three, which is Han, Luke, and Leia? Obviously, Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. Mark Hamill and Han Solo are both very aged at this point. And do you go the route of what they've done before and doing the deepfakes like they did in The Mandalorian to keep Luke Skywalker relevant and in this movie? Or do you try and recast? There's been a lot of fan castings out there, and some of which I actually agree with. When it comes to Luke Skywalker, obviously Sebastian Stan has been the biggest fan casting, and I think you have to explore that option, because how do you have an Heir of the Empire movie without having Han, Luke, and Leia? And I think at this point you have to recast actors to play the roles of those three characters in order to kind of bring the story together. Now, you could be asking as well, is if you have all the old legacy characters, you have all the characters from Ahsoka, and you have all the characters from The Mandalorian, is this film going to feel overstuffed? Well, according to Dave Filoni, this is not going to be a film that culminates with a battle that defeats Grand Admiral Thrawn. It sounds more like he's building this up to be a two-parter, or if not a three-parter series that will give a bigger story arc to all of these characters. Because if you're just going to give them one movie in which they take out Grand Admiral Thrawn, then I think you're doing a disservice to the characters. This movie should be a part 1 and a part 2 at the very least, to give him the opportunity to flesh out these characters and tell a very good, great story. And that's what's important these days, is that I want to see a good, fleshed out story. None of these woke politics. I just want to see a good story. I don't care who plays the characters. I want the story to make sense. I want the story to fit the canon, and I want the movie to kick ass. And I think that Dave Filoni can bring us a kick-ass Star Wars movie, especially if he's doing Heir to the Empire. We saw at the end of Ahsoka that Grand Admiral Thrawn made it back to the universe, while Shin Hati, Baylan Skoll, Ahsoka, and Sabine were stuck on Peridea. Now, there is some kind of driving force that has been calling to Baylan Skoll. Now, I think this could be the Mortis gods, ancient entities also known as the Ones, who embody the Force. Baylan was shown standing on an outstretched hand of a massive statue of the Father, who represents the balance of the Force, while the other two statues, the Son and the Daughter, represent the dark and the light side of the Force, respectfully. Now, if you remember back in the Clone Wars, the Daughter sacrificed her own life to save Ahsoka's life. So the spirit calling out to him, the entity that's calling out to him, could very well be either the Son or another manifestation of the Daughter. I can't wait to see how this plays out, because it's going to be a major factor going into Ahsoka Season 2 and then into the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie, likely to be Heir of the Empire. At the same time, we saw that Ezra Bridger made it back to the New Republic and met up with Hera, and now they're going to have to rally their armies to take on Grand Admiral Thrawn, as he has returned as heir to the Empire. At the same time, they got to figure out a way to save their friends who are back on Peridea. But I feel like Ahsoka, Sabine, and everybody else who's there is going to find a way to get back on their own and be able to help the New Republic fight off this new dangerous threat of the Empire, led by Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, Thrawn was on his way to the Night Sisters' home world of Dathomir. Thrawn's primary objective throughout Ahsoka was to escape Peridea and return to the Star Wars galaxy, aiming to revive the Empire and restore Emperor Palpatine's dominion. his plan was slowly unveiled throughout the series, and it was even confirmed that he had awakened and forged an alliance with the Great Mothers, who were clearly eager to leave Peridea as well. We saw at the end of the show, his journey included taking the grandmothers of Dathomir along with him, and the last glimpse of him showing him heading to the witch's home planet with a cargo containing caskets, presumably holding deceased stormtroopers, or something greater. This scene would suggest that Thrawn will maintain his alliance with the Great Mothers, offering his protection and support in exchange for their services. Dathomir could potentially be both the residence of the Great Mothers and Thrawn's strategic base as he embarks on a task of rebuilding the Empire. Aligning himself with the Great Mothers provides him with a substantial army, as he can resurrect stormtroopers into night troopers, which could make him an unstoppable force for the New Republic. On top of that, this could cause some dissension within the New Republic, as galaxies may try and side with Grand Admiral Thrawn for fear of annihilation. Now, this scenario shares similarities with Thrawn's strategy outlined in the 1990s Heir of the Empire book trilogy, which serves as an inspiration for Dave Filoni's narrative. However, rather than relying on cloning technology at Mount Tantiss, Thrawn's resurgence involves harnessing the powers of the Night Sisters or Great Mothers to bolster his military might. And that's the difference we're going to get between the legacy novels and what we're going to be getting through Dave Filoni's Heir of the Empire. We're definitely getting the New Republic going up against Thrawn's new Empire, which is going to be awesome. And I want to see how Ezra Bridger and Hera will rally the troops in order to take on this new threat to the galaxy. And how will Ahsoka and Sabine, along with Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, get back to the Star Wars universe and make a difference in this war? Guys, let me know what you think about the idea of Heir of the Empire by Dave Filoni, incorporating the Ahsoka characters, the Star Wars Rebels characters, and the Mandalorian characters. And should they recast Han, Luke, and Leia for these set of films in order to really flesh out the true Star Wars universe? Guys, leave your comments in the comment section below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a member of the channel or joining us over on Patreon. We also have links to merchandise over on teespring.com, so definitely check that out. And for all you sports fans out there, check out The Krug Show. Larry Krueger has a fire show on YouTube, and he covers everything from Warriors, Giants, and 49ers. Guys, check out The Krug Show weeknights on YouTube. And guys, stay locked in the channel, as we'll be bringing you all the news coming from Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. And we'll be giving away a free copy of Zack Snyder's Justice League and this Game of Thrones Iron Anniversary Pez collection at the end of the month, as my way of saying thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to be eligible for these giveaways, make sure that you're either a member or you joined us over on Patreon. And with that being said, guys, I will catch you next time.